All right, so we got this Maggini copy, and I mean, the label says Giovan Paolo Maggini, Brescia, 1628. All right, no. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, it is not, in fact. Is it a good fiddle? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. There's a few things that I do when I start off with a fiddle. Look at it, okay? Just an overall condition. There's not much original varnish left on this thing. Yeah, the color is there, but there's not much original varnish. It's all been pretty much beaten off. A little bit left on the back, you know, and it's got a pretty high flame two-piece back. Of course, it's got the double purfling. That's pretty, that's Maggini. It's also got the double scroll, which is, again, Maggini. This violin has got a few problems. Okay, number one, it's got a crack here and another one forming here, as well as it's got a peg box crack right across the E string peg where it comes out and hitting up to the G string peg. So we definitely have to address that. Not a big deal, but still needs to be taken care of. Now, I noticed right away, just by looking at this fiddle, that it looked big. And in fact, it is big. Okay? Kind of a... Things coming down in my shop. Fairly typical measurement from end to end is like 358 mils. You know, give or take a skosh, but that's fairly typical. This sucker here, boom shaka, 365. 365. And I seen it right away when I was looking at my Menser stick. This is just a quick reference guide, you know. You just put it up in the body and you can see if the nut and if the, kind of the vibrating string length for an adjustment and whatnot has been done proper. And I look at this and go, whoa. The notches, where typically you'd line up the bridge on the notch, you always check mathematically, but you would check that. And it's like, whoa, way off. It's like 5-6 mils off. And I get digging into it a little bit. And in fact, Maggini was like to build a little bit bigger. This is big even by Maggini standards of the day. Okay, this is just big. So, that's that. The violin's kind of like a backup fiddle. It's another one that, it's just a backup fiddle, and it's got a mismatched set of pegs in it. Somebody's, scrawled the name down and whatnot. It's dirty. It's got a metal tailpiece on it, which I'm not a super big fan of. I think even the composite ones sound better than the metal ones, but each to his own. The bridge isn't too bad. It had a little bit of lean to it, and I straightened it up the other day, and it's kind of come back to itself a little bit, but it's still a little bit crooked. We're probably going to wind up replacing the bridge. Sound post is in an extraordinary location. Interesting things. Okay? Interesting things. So, how's it sound? Well, let's see, shall we? Let's Let's give her a little workout here, see what the tone is like. Dies off pretty quick. I don't like the A and the E. They seem a little bit harsh to me, and there's some intonation things happening. So it's in tune open, but when I play it, it's slightly out of tune, and I can hear it. I think this crack has been glued, but it wasn't done super great. And this fiddle's coming to us from the Yukon. They don't have accessibility to a luthier, so yeah, stuff doesn't, I mean, they just don't have access, so things sometimes get left that would otherwise get taken care of. Regardless, no harm, no foul. We're gonna take care of this fiddle. We're gonna get a few things sorted out. So the first thing we want to do is we've taken some measurements. Right now, I'm going to take a couple more measurements just because I need to know. Really go the other way so my tape can be read properly. Everything is just a little bit out. The bridge position isn't right. The tailpiece position isn't right. The sound post is not located in a great position. So we're gonna completely go through this bad boy, and we're gonna make it right. I'm gonna take it out because we have to do some. Ooh, it was pretty tight too. That really should have just fallen out of there. Okay, sound post. I always look for these things. And of course, we're gonna check. You can definitely, like, we're gonna clean it up at the very least, this fingerboard. But I'm looking for the amount of relief in there. I'm just making sure that it's right. And it looks pretty good. Just at first glance. Well, we'll deep dive that a little bit later. So you can see that she's definitely had some years, rolling around. When the edges get worn like this down, that's a pretty good indicator that she's been around the block. See, this corner's broken off. Stuff happens. Overall, the violin is in pretty good shape, and I would dare to say, I dare to say maybe that top has never been off. I'm not going to say that it hasn't been re-glued, but the way that it's looking. Now, the one thing I was looking at, we definitely got a loose seam. hear a little slap back every once in a while? That's because, my fine furry friends, she's got a loose seam. I seen it under the chin rest and I was like, I bet you there's a loose seam in there. It's not bad, but it just was calling out my name. Loose seams are perfectly common. There's nothing really wrong with a loose seam. Fingerboard's got lots of life left in it. The nut should be replaced. Yeah, for sure. The nut has been. Well, hard to say. Now that, indeed. See if they want to go the whole route. At the least, we need repair, one way or another. New nut, new bridge, and the sound post needs a little bit of work and a new end pin. New strings, full setup. That's at the very least. Okay. Oh, and this seam. So, I mean, this violin was in good condition. So that just goes to show, you know, like a good health and wellness check on your instrument is well worth it. I mean, it's just the way that it is. In my shop, I do a health and wellness check for free. I don't charge for it. Because 9 times out of 10, there's something that needs to be done. And people want their instruments in good playing shape. I want mine in good playing shape. And everybody, I think, wants them in good playing shape. There are the occasional one that, you know, oh, it's good enough. All right, it's good enough. They usually call me back and, you know what? No, I don't like it anymore. You know, if they don't know, ignorance is bliss sometimes. Not bad ignorance, but just the way that it is. So, you know what would be interesting to do on this fiddle? Let's check out some thicknesses. I know what you're thinking, how are you going to do that? There's a tool for everything, I'm telling you. I've got this wonderful little digital caliper probe that allows me to check thicknesses. Okay. And it's non-marring. This isn't a big deal here. And we're going to check the thicknesses of this piece. So in here, in and around the bridge area, it should be thicker. And you just slowly move it. And it is. Fairly typical. Kind of 4.5 mils to a little bit higher. As we go down to the lower bout, I hope to see those thicknesses start to come down, which they are. Now we're in the low threes, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. Okay, we're going to go up to the upper bout here, and it should thin out again up in the uppers. And it does. So 3.5, 3, 4. It's maybe a little chunky, but it's not terrible. Let's see here. Sides are 1 and 1.8 mils. Okay, let's check the back. So here we're 4. Low 4s, mid 4s, high 4s. Again, I'd be looking for it to be a little thicker in the middle plate here, in the middle of the plate. And then I'd be looking for it to taper out a little bit. So that back plate is pretty consistent in between, you know, like 4.1 to 4.8 was kind of the range that I was seeing. Sides 1.7, and the top is kind of in the range. That's a little thick, okay? It is a little bit thick. So again, you know, really good indicator that it's not a super, this wasn't a master built instrument, okay? Doesn't mean it's not a well-built instrument. Oh, shucks. It just means that it wasn't a super duper high quality instrument, okay? It's a workshop fiddle, you know, probably German would be my guess. Yeah. That button is a little bit different, but it almost looks like it's worn down, but it's wide. Can you see that? Kind of wide and almost flat across the heel here a little bit. That's a little bit unique. Okay. You can see, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. There's a pin here in the back. Okay. That's, you know, I mean, not that just workshops do that, but anyway, we are going to we're going to get a hold of our customer. We're going to see what and how far they want me to go with it, and we'll go from there. You know, do they want me to shellac, you know, like I could French polish the top a little bit more to preserve what's here than to change anything, because, you know, you're just going to keep going down to bare wood. So this is not a historically significant instrument. Can we make it a good player? I do believe so. I believe we can even get it to sound nice, even being a little chunky. If I bought this fiddle, I'd probably take this fiddle apart and I'd probably do the thicknesses in it, because they're you don't find the double scroll Maggini just every day, and this one has nice wood in it, you know. So this would be for me, this would be a good candidate to redo the thicknesses, potentially a new bass bar, and make a real, you know, real good player out of it. That extra length is kind of intriguing. I'm going to be interested to see what we do with that once we get the Menser, the scale length, the vibrating string length all penciled out and in the right location. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think? Shoot me a comment. I think it's a nice looking old fiddle. Definitely worthy of keeping it playing and keeping it going. So that's what we're going to do. Cheers.